Welcome to today's team meeting. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Today's Wednesday. It's holiday week. And you're welcome. I'm bringing the merriment today because it's holiday week. And so I couldn't find my reindeer hat, which is very sexy, or my penguin hat, which is also a holiday hat, very sexy as well. They are probably in my storage room, which is not at my home, so I didn't feel like driving there. So this is what you get, and I kind of like the idea of it. As soon as this meeting is over, I'm going to take it out of my shirt and put it back on the door to the front door to the house, because that's where it belongs. If you hear any extra noises, it's because my daughter, we tried to get her in the other room to play while I have today's meeting. I also have an English bulldog who at any minute may come in and start lapping his water, and it sounds like he's inside an ocean. I don't know. He's very cute though, and so is my daughter. So today I have a couple topics to discuss, and that's the reason for this different location, the kitchen area, kitchen/dining room area of my home. I've been baking. So today's agenda topic is salty and sweet. That's the topic, salty and sweet. I love to bake, and one of the things that I always think about when I'm baking is the fact that so many ingredients go into making something great. There has to be enough flavor. It has to bake long enough. It has to cook long enough. The meat has to get tender. And with baking, it's so precise, because if you think that you're going to bake cookies and you look in the cabinet, you don't have baking soda or you don't have vanilla, you're going to have a trash cookie. I have made so many bad cookies over the years because I maybe didn't have enough of an ingredient or added too much of an ingredient. So let me show you a couple things that I've made today. I made like 5 batches of cookies. It's my thing. I love to bake. And my nickname is actually Cookie. It tracks, right? So one of the things that I made was this. Chocolate chip with pretzels. Delicious. Chocolate chip plain. Also delicious. Both in the same batch. It's just that I took it apart, half pretzels, half just chocolate chips. I'm even bringing it with sugar cookies. Not sugar cookies. They are a recipe I got from Daphne Oz, who is Dr. Oz's daughter. She's on Instagram. She's very cool. She cooks a lot. No, my daughter didn't decorate them. I did. And it's like Basquiat. It's art. It's art. And then lastly, family recipe for molasses cookies. It's a family recipe that I've made my own over the years, and so I'm going to package all these things up and give them to different people who I know like certain types of cookies, and that's how I show love during the holidays. And I love doing it. It's tiring though, standing on your feet for like 4 hours, and so my back hurts a little bit. I'm very tired because I also was on my bike, but this brings me so much joy. So I can have joy and I can have a little fatigue at the same time, right? We can hold several emotions and several feelings at the same time. The reason I want to talk to you about cookies is because the agenda topic is salty and sweet. Cookies require salt. This beautiful little treat, these beautiful treats that you're looking at, these Basquiat cookies, require salt. Salt is bitter. Salt is grainy. It doesn't make sense that you would add something so displeasing to a sweet treat. But that's the way, isn't that the way life is? When this bad thing happens, you're like, no, I didn't need to be laid off. Nope, I didn't need to be rejected from that job or from that person. That's salty. It makes you feel salty. You're tempted to remain salty. But in order to have that balance of who you're really supposed to be in life, you've got to go through the trials and the errors. You got to experience the salt so you can get to the sweet. You got to experience the salt so that you can appreciate the sweet. Every time I wanted to marry people that were nowhere near what I needed, that was salty. Because at the time I would have said, why can't I get married? Why can't I have this person in my life? Why can't I have a husband like that? And the door would be closed, or I would realize there's something about them, or maybe they realized something about me. Whatever it is, it didn't work out. And it would make me feel salty. But right here in this moment, I want to tell you, I am so happy for everything that I wanted that didn't get to me, because I wouldn't be right here where I am, wearing this bow, being a mom to my daughter, and feeling so much joy despite being laid off, despite not knowing exactly where my future is going, despite the fact that, hello, this week I told y'all I had to get my veneer replaced. I mean, it literally broke because I've been grinding my teeth. I've always been a grinder. And so I didn't wear my bite guard, and the dentist said, you need to be wearing your bite guard, which is like, it makes me feel like a boxer. I literally is like a mouthpiece at the top of my mouth. But despite all that, I am right where I'm supposed to be. So the salt is needed in this cookie. My life is a cookie. I'm Cookie. That's my nickname. That's what my family calls me. Whatever you've got in your life that's salty, don't hate it, grow from it. I have this quote that's coming out in my quote books. I don't know if I should call it a book or really a quote package. Quote cards, yeah. You will outlast this current discomfort. My heart goes out to everybody who's so sad and destroyed over the fact that someone that they love is not with them to celebrate the holidays. I know what it's like to spend a holiday absolutely alone. I lived in the DC area for many years, and the first year I was there, the first Christmas I was there, my father had passed away that previous October. So I'd already flown home for the funeral and flown home right before he passed. I didn't have any money to fly back home for Christmas or Thanksgiving. So I stayed in the DC area for the holiday, and I baked a batch of brownies and drank a 6-pack of wine coolers. That was my Merry Christmas. But that's the way it is sometimes. I can look back now and make jokes about that holiday. I can remember that pain because I bring it with me in the sense that I now appreciate the fact that I am surrounded by family for Christmas. And even now with the pandemic, I'm not going to see a lot of family members in a big group, but I have a daughter and I share a home with my mom. So we're going to make the most of it. That's salty and sweet. It's salty and sweet. These beautiful cookies require salt. Our beautiful lives require salt. This week I had some salt. When my tooth broke and I had to go into the emergency appointment, the cost of that tooth is what I could have used to buy a Gucci belt. No, I'm not going to buy a Gucci belt. I'm not there yet, but I'm just saying in context, I'm not buying presents, but I had to spend what I consider a lot of money to get my tooth fixed. Absolutely worth it, don't get me wrong, but I could choose to be down in the dumps for spending money I didn't want to spend when I'm trying to be conservative about my finances, or I could say, girl, you better get your tooth fixed. You better be glad that you had the money to do it. And that's where I'm at. I'm looking at the salt and saying, you know what? I need you to help me appreciate the fact that I still have teeth. I can afford to get my teeth fixed. Where's your salt in your life? These next 48 hours, 72 hours may bring out saltiness because you wish you were here or there or with this person or that person or doing that person. Maybe Christmas Eve is your thing and you like to go look for gifts at the last minute and it's a fun thing you do with someone else. I do that. I have a cousin that I go Christmas Eve shopping with. We get coffee, we laugh, get presents. It's always so much fun. We didn't do it. So instead, I gave her some cookies. She came over my house. I gave her some cookies. I exchanged gifts so that I could give my godchildren, her children, a gift. We made it into something. It didn't have to be absolutely nothing because we were able to connect with masks on and say hello, but we're not doing what we used to do. So it's salty, but we're making the most of the salt because we're making a cookie out of it. We'll look back and say, we made it through that. I still love her. She still loves me. We're still connected. We're still family, but we didn't get to have our tradition. So I want to encourage everybody that's experienced some salt. Think about these Basquiat cookies and realize you need the salt with the sweet in order to have a good cookie. I have no problem with the fact that I got my tooth fixed this week. I have absolutely no issue with the fact that that tooth gave me that kind of grief. I have absolutely no issue with the fact that this would be the first real Christmas that I'm celebrating with my daughter as my official daughter and not just my foster daughter. She was a foster child for one Christmas. Last Christmas, I didn't know she would stay with me. This Christmas, she's mine. You will outlast this current discomfort, y'all. I want you to remember the cookie story. It takes the salt, the baking soda, the sugar, the flour, all the ingredients. So things are not perfect. Wherever you are, I'm sure they're not. And they can seem painful and overwhelming. But number one, you're going to outlast it. I'm outlasting it. Like I said, I've got the back pain and I'm fatigued and, I could easily just choose to focus on that memory of the money that I spent, or I can say, oh, I hope these cookies are a blessing to everybody that puts their lips on them. Oh, I hope they are. Oh, I hope they are. I know they are, right? Because I love to bake and I know I put my foot in them, as they say. Is that a cultural thing? The only black people say that? You put your foot in it? It sounds gross though, right? You put your foot in it. Did you, what? Wait, what? I don't know. Anyway, it's a phrase used. She put her foot in it. So, I'm going to close out and say, I love talking to you guys about our common life challenges. And we're all going through something, maybe not at the same levels, not at the same intensity, but we're all uncomfortable in some way or another. I just decided about 2 months ago that I wanted to get to 1,000 rides on my Peloton bike. And it's just a personal goal. I'm not trying to lose weight, because another thing is when I went to the lady doctor this week, when they weighed me, it had been a while since I was weighed and I've gained weight. I've gained like 10 to 15 pounds since COVID. But I've been working on my bike. I've been doing all the things, but I haven't been moving as much, even though I work on my bike, and I've been eating more ice cream, and I've been more sedentary, and I haven't been lifting heavy weights, which is required for me to continue to burn calories, burn fat. So I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm going to embrace it and say, I still love me. There's a time when I would have said that salt was too much. I now hate who I am, and I'm going to be in a bad mood until further notice. That's the old me, the line of thinking I would have had. I can't believe I gained 10 to 15 pounds. I don't know exactly how much I weighed before one March, but I think the range, I gained like 10 to 15 pounds. I could choose to be tore up by it. Or I could choose to say, I still like me. I'm still amazing. So amp up the weights a little bit more in the garage. I don't have heavy weights, but make it work. But love yourself along the process, Tara. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm not going to be overwhelmed by this salt. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by the salt, and that's why I'm telling you all these things. My teeth, let's discuss them. Weight gain, for me, let's discuss them. That the fact that I'm working on my bike to get to 1,000 rides, let's discuss that. I'm nowhere near it. But here's your action. When you feel the salt, it gets grainy in your mouth when you're tasting life. Remember, we need salt and sweet. We need salt and sweet. That's it for today. Have a wonderful holiday. And I'm going to upload another video on Friday. Listen to it when you can. This is the team meeting, and I'm Tara Lynn. I love you guys so much.